Welcome to CEO Connect, presented by CU Solutions Group. On this month's episode, the importance of regulatory compliance for credit unions' strategic plans in 2020.
When looking for great insights into the priorities that banks and credit unions should be focused on for 2020 and beyond, one good resource is the white papers published by the so-called Big Four accounting firms, KPMG, EY, Deloitte, and PwC. These four companies audit 99% of the largest 100 companies in the world, including the largest financial institutions. So one of the better reports that I have found is the PwC report titled Retail Banking 2020, Evolution or Revolution. PwC surveyed 560 client executives from leading financial institutions across 17 markets regarding the challenges and opportunities they see for 2020 and beyond. Those priorities shook out like this. Number one, developing a customer-centric business model. 2, optimizing distribution. 3, simplifying business and operating models. 4, obtaining an information advantage. 5, enabling innovation and the capabilities required to foster it. And finally, proactively managing risk, regulations, and capital. Well, there's obviously a lot there to think about in every credit union's strategic planning, and most progressive credit unions are addressing these priorities in some form or fashion. Interestingly, when PwC probed further to identify the top 3 challenges for U.S. banks, regulatory compliance topped the list, with 43% of surveyed executives listing that, while 35% listed attracting customers and 33% listed increasing customer profitability. And even on the list of top 3 investment priorities, regulatory compliance came in first again with 56% listing it, followed by enhancing customer service at 46% and implementing new technology at 30% in the third spot. What was even more striking is that 90% of those mostly larger bank executives believe that these priorities are important, but only 20% feel very prepared to address them. Hence the management dilemma that we each face. That is, it's one thing to know what the challenges and opportunities are, and an entirely different matter to feel prepared to meet them. So for credit union executives, especially for those with more limited resources, I wonder, have you made regulatory compliance one of your highest strategic priorities? And if so, what are the activities, tools, and resources that you plan to use to help manage risk, including compliance risk? State credit union leagues and associations have long placed regulatory advocacy and support as one of their highest priorities, and CUNA has as well. And now a lot is happening in the credit union industry with the evolution of great tools and resources for credit unions. Credit union leaders tend to look at regulatory compliance as a 3-legged stool, with advocacy, information, and implementation tools all being important. State leagues and CUNA play a vital role in helping to coordinate advocacy efforts, with the goal being to streamline, simplify, or eliminate unnecessary regulations that stifle member service and create high costs of compliance. In credit unions' plan priorities, they should be sure to emphasize their commitment to support these advocacy efforts by helping to identify issues that need attention and by getting engaged in collaborative grassroots lobbying efforts. The second leg of the stool for compliance is information. State leagues all provide access to great compliance information, with over 90% of leagues doing so through a product called InfoSight, powered by a consortium of leagues who formed the company called League InfoSight. InfoSight provides affiliated credit unions with federal and state level content on current and pending regulations, with insights for setting priorities for compliance. These resources are provided as a part of membership dues. And most of these leagues also offer access to a library of model policies to help comply with regulatory demands for the associated policy language. And certainly CUNA's great compliance resources and content are integrated with these state league InfoSight platforms. Now, what credit unions can do in this area is to make sure that they know about the resources and take advantage of them. And equally important, provide your league with input and feedback on how well they are meeting your compliance information needs. We all want to excel in this area, and two-way communication is critical. The third leg of the compliance stool is implementation tools. Two leading products in this space are ComplySight and AffirmX. Over 300 U.S. credit unions currently use one or both of those products. Both are very different. ComplySite is a simple software product that helps inventory federal and state regulations, providing a tracking tool for internal compliance audits. It is usually most effective for credit unions who have some strong internal compliance expertise, and it tends to replace the spreadsheets and other do-it-yourself systems that credit unions operate with. In the case of a Firmex risk management service, credit unions gain access to a risk intel center platform. It draws on internal data sources as well as external data to improve the way credit unions prioritize risk management and compliance tasks, and importantly, remediation. The platform generates reports for internal purposes as well as for examiners who want to understand how the credit union is managing risk and compliance in particular. Both of these solutions are now owned by a CUSO called Firmex CU LLC. It's owned by Maryland-based servicing partner of Firmex, CU Solutions Group, and 5 regional leagues which include Mountain West, Maryland, D.C., Cornerstone, Indiana, and Connecticut. League InfoSite, a consortium of 15 state leagues, will also soon have ownership in this product-centric company called Firmex CU. Close to 30 leagues sell and support one or both of these products, and the mission is to help credit unions of all sizes gain access to the important implementation tools for regulatory compliance and risk management. A Firmex CEO, Ken Wolf, has likened ComplySite to a vacuum cleaner, while the Firmex risk platform is the housekeeping service. I find this to be an interesting analogy when thinking of how messy a job regulatory compliance can be and how every credit union should want to keep a tidy house when it comes to compliance. Whether they want a do-it-yourself product like ComplySite or a more outsourced full-service platform like a Firmex. So as credit unions approach this planning season for 2020 and beyond, I hope that all will make regulatory compliance a top priority, just as the largest banks are doing all across the U.S. And here's a great quote from the PwC Retail Banking 2020 report. Quote, "Regulators do not want banks just to be correcting mistakes, nor to be ticking boxes. Rather, they want banks to embrace regulatory intent and create sound, secure, unbiased businesses where regulatory compliance and sound conduct is embedded in the processes and values of everyday operations." Close quote. If you would like to demo one of these products, either ComplySite or Firmex, just reach out to Brandy Stankovic or Malia Heimbuck at CU Solutions Group, and we can connect you with either your league partner or with a direct link to the product demo of your choice. CU Solutions Group has worked with CUNA and state leagues for over 16 years to develop and invest in great regulatory compliance tools that help credit unions succeed. We plan to double down on this important priority with our league partners to help credit unions address this and other top planning priorities in the future.